Once upon a time, in the village of Omocha, there lived a girl named ADANNA. ADANNA was a gentle and kind-hearted young girl who saw her life take a turn when her father Okonkwo decided to remarry. The newcomers to their humble abode were Ngozi and a woman whose heart seemed to be very cold, and Chiamaka, her daughter, whose arrogance was seen in every aspect. ADANNA's days transformed into a relentless cycle of disaster as Ngozi and Chiamaka exploited her kindness, burdening her with an array of chores that had to be done from morning to dawn and from dawn to evening. She had no time to rest. It was a heavy burden for a young girl who had known nothing but love and warmth in the embrace of her family. Little did she know her journey was about to be marred by the shadows of cruelty and mistreatment. The air in ADANNA's home became thick with isolation as Ngozi and Chiamaka excluded her from the very fabric of family life. Once vibrant family activities became a distant memory for ADANNA, who found herself set aside by the margins of her own existence. Her home, once a sanctuary, now echoed with emptiness of her isolation, a contrast to the joyful sounds that once resonated within the walls when her mother was still alive. As if isolation was not enough, ADANNA's possessions became the target of her stepmother and stepsister's greed. Ngozi and Chiamaka, with hearts devoid of empathy, systematically stripped ADANNA of her belongings, leaving her with nothing but the remnants of a life she once knew. Her cherished possessions, which she had received them after a very hard work, vanished like morning dew. ADANNA tried to confront them, telling them that it is not right to be taking her possessions and making them theirs. But in return, they tarnished her reputation within the close-knit community. Ngozi and Chiamaka, architects of deceit, wove intricate tales that turned the villagers against ADANNA. The once warm gaze her neighbors now carried a suspicion and mistrust, casting ADANNA into the web of lies spun by those who once considered family. To add salt to her wounds, Ngozi and Chiamaka shamelessly preferred what ADANNA had left. The remnants of her life were taken without remorse, leaving her with bare minimum required for survival. Each stolen item carried with it a piece of ADANNA's dignity, a silent testimony to the heartlessness that now dominated her world. The meals, once a source of sustenance and comfort, became a cruel reminder of ADANNA's plight. Ngozi and Chiamaka reveled in their cruelty, serving ADANNA bigger portions of leftover food while indulging in lavish feasts. The aroma of the abundant meals taunted ADANNA, a daily reminder of the inequality that had seeped into every aspect of her existence. ADANNA could not report them to their father, since he worked in the city, and also he trusted the stepmom than ADANNA, taking ADANNA to be a child. ADANNA's world plunged into darkness with each adjustment, punishment meted out by her stepmother and stepsister. Very small mistakes became offenses punishable by the harshest means they could, breaking ADANNA's spirit and isolating her emotionally from the world around her. In a masterstroke of manipulation, Ngozi and Chiamaka started a campaign to turn the villagers against ADANNA. Through cunning tactics, they spun a web of lies that poisoned the once cherished bonds of trust within the community. ADANNA, once a beloved member of the village, now found herself alienated and shunned. ADANNA's attempts to improve her situation were met with relentless sabotage at every turn. Whether she sought help or tried to escape the clutches of her tormentors, Ngozi and Chiamaka were unyielding in their determination to crush any glimmer of hope that ADANNA dared to kindle. Their malicious intent seemed boundless and unrelenting force against the vulnerable girl who dared to dream for a better life. In a final heart-wrenching blow, Ngozi and Chiamaka exploited ADANNA's vulnerability in various ways for their own gain. The emotional and physical toll on ADANNA seemed insurmountable, as Ngozi and Chiamaka reveled in their wickedness, oblivious to the pain they were inflicting to the innocent soul who had once known only love and acceptance. However, amid the darkest that had developed in ADANNA's life, a glimmer of hope emerged. Unable to endure the relentless cruelty any longer, ADANNA summoned the strength within her and made a daring decision. Under the cover of the moonlit night, she silently slipped away from her home, leaving behind the shackles of her past. Her heart heavy but determined, ADANNA embarked on a journey into the unknown, guided only by the flickering flame of hope that burned within her. Venturing far beyond the confines of Omoche village, ADANNA faced the challenges of the world with resilience and unwavering determination. She sought refuge in distant lands where her talents and kindness were recognized and celebrated. ADANNA's innate strength and the wisdom gained from her tumultuous past propelled her towards success in ways she had never imagined. In a twist of fate, ADANNA's unwavering spirit led her to opportunities that transformed her into a successful and wealthy woman. She became an inspiration not just for herself but for others who faced adversity. ADANNA's story was spread throughout, people resonating and sought courage and hope in their own struggles. The newfound success, however, did not harden ADANNA's heart. Instead, it fueled a deep well of compassion within her. Remembering the pain of her past, ADANNA became an advocate of the oppressed, using her wealth to influence and uplift those who had been silenced and neglected. The once vulnerable girl had blossomed into a formidable force for justice and kindness.